Hello everyone, this is Chang at the Pacific Asia Travel Association, the Department of Sustainability and Social Responsibility. The COVID 19 crisis has halted travel and tourism, unintentionally benefiting air quality, CO2 emissions, and habitats globally. The COVID 19 crisis has similarly locked down societies, increased isolation, impacting the emotional health and welfare of many. As such, the COVID 19 crisis has provided clear evidence that behavioral changes can really make environmental impacts, representing an opportunity for accelerating the climate actions. However, the need for societies to have inclusive development that spread benefits are just as necessary. How then, as tourism strives to rebuild better, can recovery packages deliver benefits for our planet, people, and prosperity goals? The Global Sustainable Tourism Council, or GSTC in short, establishes and manages global sustainable standards that are the guiding principles and minimum requirements that any tourism business or destination should aspire to reach in order to protect and sustain the world's natural and cultural resources while ensuring tourism meets its potential as a tool for conservation and poverty alleviation. GSTC does not directly certify any products or services, but provides an accreditation for certification bodies that certify hotels and accommodations, tour operators, transport providers, and destinations as having sustainable policies and practices in place. Today, Pada spoke to Dr. Mi Hee Kang, the GSTC Program Director for the Asia Pacific, to have better understanding of sustainability certifications in tourism and the benefits of getting certified by credible accredited bodies, particularly during this challenging time of the COVID-19 crisis. Hello, Mihi. Thank you so much for your time today. And we are very excited to have you with Pada in this interview, discussing more about the sustainability certifications, especially during this tough time of the COVID-19 crisis. So to get us started, would you mind introducing a bit about yourself and the work you are doing with GSTC, please?
Sure. Thank you for inviting me and GSTC for this interview. I'm Mihi Gang. I'm from GSTC, working as Asia Pacific Director. I'm based in Korea, but our staff of GSTC globally work, so everywhere. So I'm working from Korea. My main job is managing all GSTC activities happening in Asia Pacific region. It can be training sessions or communication with the government and the business sector. We guide them how to make their destination or industry to be more sustainable. So we have a bunch of activities, including webinar or on-site, seminar. And then my job is, assessing destination in terms of sustainability. So those are GSTC main activities, and then I'm engaged in those activities in Asia Pacific. That's my main, work for GSTC. Thank you.
Thank you so much for sharing with us the different work that you've been doing with GSTC. So we all know that during this challenging time of the COVID-19 crisis, many tourism destinations and companies have been struggling to operate. So why should they aspire to achieve certification from GSTC accredited bodies? And will better certification schemes lead to better recovery for the tourism industry, in your opinion?
Mm-hmm. Okay. The first thing I'd like to, explain the meaning of certification. Certification means you are actually doing what you are claiming to be doing. It's an official process to prove an object or organization has certain characteristics. If you say we are caring about animal welfare, actually you should be caring about animal welfare. So, the certification is that process to prove what you said. There are too many labels that confuse customers, including us. According to our tracking of the labels, there are over 300 labels, including inactive ones. How many labels do you think you can recognize, among 300? And how much do you understand those certification programs mean in terms of sustainability? Actually, I can't say I understand all their certification scheme and what they really measure. So, but there are full of claims of eco-friendly, responsible, or caring local communities or animal welfare. How much can we trust them, or how can we trust all of those claims? But unfortunately, the quality of certification varies widely. We learned some certification programs do not have on-site audit, but they only, do desk review. And then some program give certificates based on keeping membership over time rather than based on merit. So in those cases, we can't trust, even though they argue they are certified. That's why GSTC exists. GSTC provides global criteria for sustainable tourism and accredits certification bodies who are transparent and trustful. GSTC assesses certification bodies with its management system and their certification process. We don't directly certify hotels to operators or destinations, but we accredit certification bodies who audit and certify hotels to operators or destinations if they have impartial and rigorous processes of auditing and certifying them. Certification is not always well understood or well appreciated, but it has an important role by providing the discipline, the businesses and the destinations to improve in all aspects of sustainability. And again, certification provides impartial evidence that the businesses or destination is delivering on its claims. So if you look for certified, the businesses, it means you can look for more sustainable companies and suppliers. But again, to make sure those certification programs really ensure the quality, GSTC has accreditation program process. So you need to give thought when you're selecting the certification body and checking if they are accredited by the GSTC. So I think that's enough explanation why you need certified products or businesses, and especially those certification program or certification bodies should be accredited by the GSTC.
Thank you so much, Mihi, for sharing with your insights. I really resonate to the point you raised about, how certification is not very well appreciated. And it was actually a very sad thing, because I think certification are very important. It can actually set standards and help distinguish businesses. So I think it's a very important area for businesses to talk about. So do you see any opportunities that the COVID-19 crisis can bring for promoting sustainable tourism? And what should be the lessons learned here for the tourism industry?
Yeah, recently we talk a lot about, post-COVID-19 or, what should we do, in this crisis. But as you know, COVID-19 is related to all aspects of environment, society, and economy. We have painfully learned that how we should live with nature and how we care about the people we work with, and finally how we keep our business alive. None of these things is easy or difficult, but GSTC criteria for industry include crisis and risk management. if you prepare for this kind of crisis and they had a plan for risk management, it could be a little bit easier for you to survive in this crisis because you have a plan, you can follow. And just this criteria for industry also include the safety and the health issues, and of course, animal related criteria to ensure safe and healthy environment for tourists and your own staff and nearby communities. We needed to work with the stakeholders. That is, making more sustainable supply chain is a key, and then having continued discussion and the environment of communities that you have. A few months ago, we had organized a series of webinars for Greek stakeholders from both public and private sectors in collaboration with the Greek Ministry of Tourism. And we invited a speaker from the organization managing the Slovenia National Sustainable Tourism Certification Program. And she talked about their national certification program and its impact. And the managing director, she got a question from the participants about how their business sectors are surviving from COVID-19. And then she replied saying, because they also assess, their management system, including risk and crisis management. The business sector is more ready to respond to those, crises. So she said, there's no exact data yet, but it seems the businesses joined their certification program seemed better shape of businesses in the COVID-19 crisis. Actually, Slovenia, as I understand, they managed better than other European countries, and then they actually announced, they ended, the virus crisis. So we need more research on this issue, but I'd like to say that if you follow the criteria, more sustainable businesses status you will have. It means before having crisis and risk, you need to establish system and strategy to respond to those crises or risk effectively. People talk about smart tourism, combining smart technology for post-COVID-19. So I think that's really important, but the concrete basis should be sustainable system and practice. So we need some guideline and then procedures, so what you follow. So GSTC criteria and the GSTC accreditation process with the certification bodies can give better access to prepare your sustainable system and practice. So Vanuatu is a really small, tiny, island in Pacific region. That country also our destination member, and then they follows, GSTC criteria for industry. So they developed their own industry criteria for hotels, and but besides of that, they established a recovery plan. And then we communicated about that recovery plan, based on our sustainability, sustainable approaches. So I think even though they are really vulnerable country, but they always think about the sustainability. So I can't say they are sustainable destination so far, but they make big efforts. And then the government really tried to make a better system based on effective policy. So it can be really good example what government or leadership should do in this kind of crisis. So their recovery plan with lots of risk and crisis would help them to be more sustainable and then respond effectively to the crisis that they confront with.
Thank you so much. That would be a very interesting case study to learn more about. So, with all the opportunities from the crisis that you have actually mentioned, how can we actually encourage tourism destinations, companies, and organizations to be certified, especially during this tough time of the COVID-19?
Yeah, basically, if they see the benefits of a sustainable movement, they will, naturally follow. But still, they need some incentive to get, in the market, more tourists coming or more profits they gain. So for that, they need really active promotion. Luckily, these days, the OTAs such as Booking.com or Agoda are going to give a better market benefit to certified entities. So when you search, what they are going to do is that when you search a hotel, for example, on their website, Booking.com or Agoda website, the certified hotels will be listed high on the search results. So it will be spread to other OTA sites for destinations and to operators, I expect. Some other, the small, also the booking website, they present some destinations and to operators based on their marking on sustainability. So I think, if Booking.com or Agoda start, listing certified hotels, on the top, I think the other OTAs follow, what Booking.com or Agoda do. So when we consider the recent customers' online purchasing rate, we can encourage some more OTAs to give benefits to the certified entities. Then also business sector will join certification because they can see the benefits, through the being on the top. So, but we also need to feature more sustainable businesses or destination on different media, including PATA websites or newsletter. So more people can access to the information on, sustainable businesses or destinations. According to the Booking.com's survey, lack of information and lack of certification tackle people in sustainable choices. Number one was money, the cost. But number two was about lack of information. So I think it tells us we need to provide more information. Therefore, providing related information through different channels, and then using actual booking engines, highlighting certified entities would be a best way to promote the certified businesses or destinations. And I'm sure this kind of interview by PATA can also help people understand about certification and then its importance.
Thank you very much, Mihi.